Since we do have one new case we're going to hear tonight, I'm going to go through a brief overview of the functions of the Board of Zoning and Appeals so we can get it on record. So you'll bear with me. I'm really a great public speaker. Just a brief overview of the functions of the Board of Zoning and Appeals. The BZA is a quasi-judicial body, and as such, its role is similar to a judge in a court case. The Board will hear evidence and testimony that is factual, will make decisions based on the facts presented and the rules set forth in the resolution and principle of law. Ohio Revised Code 519.13 requires that any township that has adopted a zoning resolution, which Auburn Township has, to appoint a 5-member Board of Zoning Appeal with 2 alternates. This board is empowered to hear and decide appeals and to authorize variances in the strict terms of the zoning resolution, where the variances will not be contrary to the public interest and where, due to special conditions, a literal enforcement of the resolution will result in an unnecessary hardship. The BZA is also permitted to authorize variances where the spirit and intent of the zoning is upheld and substantial justice will be done. The BZA is empowered to grant a conditional use permit. With this being stated, the board's proceedings are relatively informal, but in order to conduct an orderly meeting and allow all parties of interest that would be contiguous property owners the opportunity to present the evidence necessary to assist in the board's decision, certain procedures need to be followed. All interested parties will be sworn in. The applicant will be asked to present his or her evidence to support the requested appeal. The board will ask questions, and then all interested parties, then again contiguous property owners, may present evidence concerning the appeal and ask questions regarding the previously presented evidence. It is the applicant's burden to produce evidence to support the application. The board will not make the applicant's case for him. In order to prepare appropriate meeting minutes, each person who speaks will need to state for the record his or her name and address. The meeting may be continued by either the applicant or the board. The board must base their decision upon facts and not the expressions of concerns or non-factual matters. The actions of the BZA does not become final until 30 days after the date of the meeting that the meeting minutes are approved. Any appeals from the final decision of the BZA will be made to the Shad County Common Pleas Court by any party of interest, and that again would be the contiguous property owners that are present at this meeting. So, with that said, next item is swearing in. If anybody's going to be speaking tonight, want to make sure you're signed in. I see we have a huge crowd tonight, so you raise your hand and repeat after me. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Thanks. Old business, we do have BZA 1403B and 1404B. These were a request from last month for a request to put a mound in the back of a piece of property up here in what's the name of that subdivision? Sterling Glen. And we heard their case, and we told them that we would not vote on it until they formally presented their certificate from the Corps of Engineers, and apparently, Jane, you said that they haven't presented that yet, so we're going to shelve the old business for today until they present the necessary evidence so we can take a vote. With that said, our next item here, BZA 1406B. This is a variance for a request submitted by Jeffrey A. Kuzinski or Jason Jelson, LLC, from the Auburn Township Board of Resolution Article 5.02A, accessory buildings, which states no accessory building shall be located in a front yard, for a proposed accessory building to be located at 11900 Washington Street. This is in a B1A zoning district in Auburn Township, Ohio 44023. I know you presented the information to our board, to the zoning board and our zoning office here. It's been distributed to the members on the board here. I hope everybody had a chance to look at it. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you present your case.
Okay. My name is Ben Slane. I'm the general manager of Gilson and Paul Davis Restoration of Cleveland Metro. I'm representing Gilson and Jeff Szynski, who is the owner. And I did bring a letter, a signed letter for you as well. Our main business is insurance restoration. We go into people's homes. We're contacted by insurance companies due to water loss, fires, things like that. You know, we've been very, very busy, obviously, with the cold winter we had here. Pipes were bursting. There's been some heavy rains, flooding, things like that. So business has been very good from that standpoint, and to that end, we're looking to expand. You know, allow for some more storage of equipment and vehicles. So that's where we came up with the proposed 2,600 square foot. It's a one-story wood frame garage to be placed in the indicated area there. Off to the left side there where you come in the driveway. One of the questions that I'm sure you have is why the original building was constructed in the rear, which actually kind of set in motion the need for the variance. Since it's in the rear, just about anything we do on our lot's going to be in the front yard, as it were. The reason, if you look at the layout, and if anybody needs a larger one, if you look at the lower right portion of it, there is a stream that comes into the property. So obviously you get the 30-foot riparian setback as well. So when you take into account that, as well as the irregular shape of the lot, it's actually 60 feet wider in the back than the front. Between that and just the natural features of the land, really the only place to put the original building was to situate it in its current position. The cell tower in the back left was existing at the time. There was an existing building which we use for storage as well, and there is a home up in the front left which is rented out. It is part of our parcel. It is rented out at this time.
So the dwelling is on the same piece of property?
It's on the same parcel, yes. It's not the reason it says the private garage is, I guess that's a terminology the architect felt was important, because it's not a service garage where people are going to bring vehicles to be serviced, things like that going on. He felt it was important to show the distinction that it's just a private garage going to be used for storage of our vehicles and our mitigation equipment, which are basically dehumidifiers, large fans, that type of extraction equipment.
Most of that equipment that you have now, you said you had the one that's out of the building. Now, you store it, I'm assuming, in the main structure? We store it in the main structure as well as the existing building here. Now, the intent originally of the large main structure, it's those of you who have seen it, there's a smaller, the office section is to the right, and then the larger warehouse section. That's where we store clients' contents. If you have a fire, for example, we'll come in, we'll remove all the contents, we have them cleaned, and then we store them on site until the reconstruction of the home, all the mitigation, everything is repaired. Then we move back the contents. As we've grown and acquired more equipment and things, we've lost more and more space in that warehouse for contents. We're storing equipment and vehicles. We park a vehicle in both bays at night. So the need is there for us to get the vehicles out. However, we don't want to park them outside. There's a couple reasons. One, it's aesthetically nicer if all the vehicles are put away, and that's what this building would allow. But another issue is we do have dehumidifiers and things on the truck, so in the winter time, and we can't leave them out in an unheated area. So the garage would be heated?
Yes, the garage would be heated. We would have security. We'd have our security system ran to it as well.
And you say you plan on parking vehicles in there and
Yes.
equipment?
Yeah.
I know when I went by there Sunday afternoon and looked, I know there were a couple vehicles outside at the time.
Right. Yeah, and that would, construction of this would allow those vehicles to go in as well. We made this building large enough to accommodate the vehicles that are currently in the warehouse, as well as the ones. There's a trailer and at least one van that sits outside. I know the intent of I understand the intent of the zoning resolution. You don't want people building storage barns and little structures and putting them in their front yard. So we asked Mike Bonner, the architect, to present an aesthetically pleasing, something that would complement the site. Something that would not appear out of place. So I think he did a nice job of siting it on the lot, obviously maintaining all the necessary setbacks and things.
This is strictly for storage, no office space at all?
No, there's no offices. No, all the offices are in this section here of the main building. We won't have phone to it or anything. It'll strictly be a storage. It will be heated, obviously, but
sorry. What would be the size of the building?
64 by 42.
Is it higher than the other building? Sorry, I didn't see it.
I think it
Full
says
site 31 feet.
31. Yeah.
What's the existing structure site?
I know the regulation is 35.
One story then?
Yeah, it's one story.
Not gonna have a loft or anything?
Not at this time. I know he talked about maybe beefing the structure up enough so that at some point, if we continue to grow, that we would have that ability to come back and decide. But at this time, it's just a one-story wood frame, drywall ceiling, standard construction.
Are these trees here currently?
No.
On the drawing?
No, those are all architect generated. We do have the front of our existing building is landscaped. I don't know if you were there the other day. Yeah.
Is there additional room for expansion of this building?
Of this building, the one we're building?
Yeah.
I would think there is room for us to expand. I don't know that we have anything, we don't have anything on the books as far as future expansion at this point. That was part of the reason we went from a 20 by 30 to the size we did. Was to try and encompass all of our future needs as
It
well.
always seems when you build a building, it's not big enough. So
Yeah,
that's why
exactly. Once you build a building, you put everything in it.
There's a thought process down the road.
Yeah, knock on wood. We're hoping. I mean, ideally, sure, we'd love that it's not going to be big enough, because that means we're continuing to grow and add on. But
Are you intending to put some vegetation, some trees or something around it to shed it under the one side?
Yeah. The actual view, for those of you who haven't driven past it, it's pretty much, the site is somewhat blocked. There's you can see the large dirt mound that was there from Ohio Trenching, I think, owned the property before. So that kind of shades the main structure, and the existing home and the trees around it really do block a lot of it. But yes, we intend to do some landscaping as well. And if you look at the artist rendition, if you will, we're going to put windows and things to make it, look non-industrial, make it look like a nice structure. everything would be sided to be complementary with the existing structure as well.
One question, I don't know if anybody, are there any adjoining property owners here tonight?
I am.
Sir, there you go. Your name and your address?
I'm all for having.
Your name, please?
Ron Noah.
Okay, Ron.
I'm all for having, anything that looks good and that kind of improves that place down there. But I mean, maybe they'll cut the grass if they build another building there. That grass hasn't been cut since they lived there. They landscaped right in front of their building, and everything else just went to heck.
You're saying everything in the swale and in front?
Yeah, that's never been cut. I mean, there's landscapers all over the place. I mean, I cut grass probably 5 days a week, my own grass. So somebody over there, I mean, they've been busy, they've been making a lot of money, they should be able to hire a landscaper. That's the only problem I have.
I would be curious, where are you talking about mowing? I mean, if
the
you
whole
drive
front
over there
yard
right now, everything is beautifully mowed.
When did you mow it?
It gets mowed once a week. Actually, this person.
You're talking about right in front of
right
in front, because I was over there talking to Jeff before.
Okay.
And it's landscaped right in the front. Then he feeds the deer in the back.
Yeah, we have landscaping here, and this whole area here is mowed. This is mowed. That's mowed.
What about up to next to the road?
Okay, yeah, none of this where that mound is and things.
And those big 60-foot pine trees, you know how many years those things have been giving me trouble? You guys do restoration. You should come over there and clean up my basement once in a while, because I don't clean my gutters enough because all those big pine needles are in my gutter.
How did you get?
Well, the wind blows them all the way across there. I've raked as much as a dump truckload of.
Which side which side are you on of our property?
I'm on here looking at it, be on the right side.
Oh, okay. You're on the
So you're on the east.
So you're on the
east side.
East side.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
You're right.
Down toward the reservoir.
Right. No, I mean I don't care. It's just I think more people should, especially that own a business, should manicure their place a little better. It's really nice right up in front of the building.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, forget it. This kind of fits right in with the street because the water actually runs down the middle of the street instead of down the ditch where it should be running. And it's been like that ever since up at the auto place there. Ever since they put their gas line in, they blocked the water right away where we go down the sewer. So now it comes down. When I used to own that corner property up there, that was one of the things they asked me, where's all this water running off going to go? Well, same place it's going right now, down the middle of the road. At least I would have put a sewer pipe in there. But other than that, I mean...
the plan that they're presenting here, it appears to me like there's a lot of thoughts put into it, and they want it to fit in nicely with...
I figure it'll be nice and everything, and I mean, I'm all for that. It's just the regular maintenance around the building.
To his point, there is not, this is, the stream and the marsh here, there's nothing, we don't do anything down in this entire area. He's absolutely correct.
Well, there used to be a sewer, and the neighbor's sewer line emptied right on the back of my property.
Oh.
And he said, it's not dirty, it comes out of the basement. Well, I don't care where it comes from.
Well, that's something you really need to work out with your neighbor here on your issues.
Yeah, I'm not sure what...
Well, no, the zoning should really have something to do with cutting grass. And I mean, I haven't cut my grass in front of the place where I live now, but it looks more like a hayfield than a business.
Is that considered wetland? Is that your...
It stays wet a lot of the year, but yeah, 30 feet on either side is what they call the riparian setback, which we have to stay away from, obviously. But,
right. You've heard from your neighbor.
Okay.
No, the people used to own that. He mowed that every week. He had an old Ford N tractor, and that place was always manicured.
Really? The trenching, Ohio trenching?
No, not the guy that sold it to Ohio Trenching.
Oh, the guy who sold it. Okay.
But yeah, Louis.
Oh, okay. You know who? Yeah.
John, you have any concerns with what they're looking at?
The fire department has no objection. I'm a little concerned about the possibility of a mezzanine
That's what I was
in the future. to be honest with you.
Would they have to, if that what the is because of the size of the building, would it require a wet or sprinkler type system?
No, it'd still be under the square footage, but there are other things that come into play. So my only mention here for tonight, if you do a mezzanine, you're going to have to make it sure that it conforms to all the current codes.
Okay.
So, he's not going to be able to do the mezzanine unless it conforms. Simple as that.
Okay.
Do you have to have a sprinkler system and everything in that building?
Frank, is that something?
They don't have to?
Kind of
Even though they have...
It's under the square
They would
footage.
build the
Oh,
mezzanine?
when I wanted to build a building on the corner, that's all they argued about was I had to have a sprinkler system in it. And that was
Okay.
in 1984.
And that changed a lot of that.
I put a mezzanine on my building. It's a variance of English when I had to have special paint.
It is what it is.
I supposedly retarded.
Any more comments? Any comments from the board?
Hey, Brian, I got one other question. Doors to the rear?
I'm
Is there going
sorry.
to be a door to the back, to the west side?
There will be a man door to the west side. Yeah, there's a garage door as well.
Just a garage door and a man door then?
Yeah, there'll be a garage door on the back side as well.
So parking's going to be kind of maintained around the back of the building to the existing storage shelter,
Right,
as well as that building.
right.
Okay. And
That's a code requirement.
as far as the door to the back, yeah.
You have to have the...
You'll be able to drive through.
Yeah, you would be able to drive through. The center bay would actually go all the way through, right.
So there are 2 businesses housed here, and how many employees?
We have 17 employees currently. There's 2 businesses. Gilson, for clarification, Paul Davis Restoration does business. It's Nelski Incorporated. Gilson is the company that owns the land and rents the building but they're all under the same ownership.
But you're only facilitating one business.
One business, yeah.
Right.
Paul Davis Restoration.
I just think it's important to have proper landscaping around it, have some kind of buffer. Not what we can do to mandate this because it is a variance request, not a conditional use where we can place conditions.
Right.
However, I think being a good neighbor, I think that do everything you can to properly make it aesthetically appealing. And you're doing that with the building.
I know the chief drove through today, and he's probably saw the hanging bat. We try and make it as aesthetically pleasing as possible. To take away some of the industrial look and have it look a little more residential. We are the last lot in this zone before you get into the residential, so we are aware of that.
Why are you making a wood building when the other one is all metal? Is there just so it'll look better, or?
I think part of it was the size. I think I wasn't. That was Jeff's decision. The owner wanted to go with the wood style building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think just with the size of it, I think that's why they went with the metal building initially when Brad and Jeff built this. I think that was, they went with one of those steel building systems, and that's actually worked out very well. It's held up extremely well. It's only 2009, so it's not like it's been there. Just going up on our 5th year.
Is there any thoughts about possibly doubling what you already currently have, going double deep on what you have?
Double, going out the back?
Going out the back.
No. But no, that wasn't something we've talked about at this point.
For clarification, that would depend on what this
It's
The
residential.
back lot is
It's owned by the diocese.
It's residential.
So,
Residential.
Is it residential?
It's gotta be 100 feet.
It's got to be 100 feet, so you can't go
So you
back.
can't go back. Right.
It looked like there was a wetland or some area back there from the one photo. It looked like it.
There, just a corner was wet, and it would dry out, but periodically it would be wet. You'd even have cattails growing in there.
If that helps, that's just kind of
I thought I
one of
saw-
the Google Map type things.
Yeah, I
if
thought
you
I
want
saw
to see.
something like back in here.
That shows you where all the buildings are currently, and kind of gives you an idea of where things are. Yeah.
It's all gravel driveway for surrounding for your surface, drive surface. For,
Yeah, off to the.
I mean, your
this
new
is all
area.
gravel. Yeah.
it will be still remain as the driveway.
This will be paved, obviously.
Yeah, your apron.
Yeah, the apron and everything. Yes.
Anybody else have anything else to say?
Well, I'm sorry.
Tom, go ahead.
Since you guys bud residential, two sides, not the diocese and then Mr. Noah, what are your hours of operation? Is there, is there any?
Normal operation is 8 to 5. However, just as I was leaving, we got a water loss in Paynesville. A water softener tank let loose and flooded the first floor and a basement. So people came and picked up a van and left. I mean, we don't do any active, loud construction of any kind at the site. Everything.
Loading and unloading.
It's basically just, and it's all hand. We do have a tow motor, but that's just for putting pallets of contents in the warehouse. We don't use heavy machinery or anything.
Any other questions? Okay. I will make a motion to grant a variance request of CZA 1406B submitted by Jeffrey A. Suzinski for Jelson LLC, Auburn Township, zoning resolution article 5.028 accessory buildings. No accessory building shall be located in the front yard for proposed accessory building at 11900 Washington Street, the B1A zoning district, Auburn Township, Ohio 44023.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yep. That said, unanimous decision here, but as I noted in the opening statement that you have 30 days to approve the meeting minutes. And you elect to proceed prior to that date?
At your own
risk.
At your own risk.
Okay. And our next meeting is scheduled for
July 8th.
July 8th to approve the meeting minutes. Okay.
Oh, great, thank you.
Okay, with that new business behind us, we have some administrative items to address here. We do have meeting minutes from the May 20th for BZA 1405C, 1403 and 04B. That's the one that we're looking to.
It's recessed.
It's recessed.
Because it was every 6 months, and it's still
We can approve the minutes, but until we vote on it. We didn't vote on it.
No, but we're just approving what we
Okay.
did that day.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to stay unless you
Oh, okay.
want.
Okay, unless you want to stick around.
And you'll keep
Yeah, I'd like
you
to
need all
keep
those?
this.
Okay. All right.
then we have the May 20th, DZA 1405 C, the Chris Smith case from last week with the storage units. Everybody will take a look at it, provide any comments to Jay.
Motion to approve.
Time to you might as well see it. That was the authorization to give the judgment. Speak up, please.
Correct.
We have a second then. This is for 1405C. Rob, you want a second? Mrs. Beller?
Yes.
Mr. Freeberry?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yep.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
The other card that we made.
Oh, you did good.
Okay, so the next one is the BCA 1405 304B. This is just for the content of the information. We haven't voted on this one yet until they present their Board of Engineer information. Do you have any idea when that count that you should take, Frank? Get that.
It could take 6 months.
Okay.
That's part of the reason why Shelley's not doing the project.
Yeah, I'm trying my years.
Okay, motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Mrs. Beller?
Yes.
Mr. Freeberry?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yep.
Mr. Fior?
Yes.
And Rob, I spelled all correct out.
Oh, that's okay.
Two sets of meeting minutes for 14/01/80. It'll be April 22nd, and then we continue it to May 13th.
That was for which one?
Horseshoe.
Yes, Sterling voted on it.
Approval of the variance.
I think we'll motion separate because it's two separate meetings.
Okay.
Okay, so motion to approve April 22nd.
Motion to approve.
A second.
Okay, Mrs. Beller?
Yep.
Mr. Freeberry?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yep.
Mr. Thompson? Oh,
Not there.
Okay. Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Okay. And then the May 15 ones.
Make a motion.
Second.
Sure.
Mrs. Beller?
Yep.
Mr. Stewart?
Yep.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Finding the facts has been, get it back yet, Jane?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we need a motion for the findings of that.
Make a motion.
One second.
Mrs. Beller?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes. All right, the next item on our agenda is the miscellaneous, which will be our next meeting, which is July 8th. So, we'll see you before then. Have a great 4th of July.
You too.
Okay, a motion to adjourn.
Go on, Buck.
Second.
Yep.
Make a motion.